Hi, MikeRatner.com, Mike'sMastermind.com. I want to talk about the XP. Now, in August, when I was attending a podcast festival in Denver, um, I was just thinking about some ideas that I'd been sort of, for the last year, mulling over. And we all know about IQ, because we all talk about IQ, like the person's smart or not, but we also talk about EQ, emotional intelligence. And I thought, well, what would happen if you married the two? What kind of bastard child would it be? What would it be if they were married? But so it is XQ. I sort of just came up with the expression quotient that if he has intelligence, both, you could say, mentally, maturely, emotionally, what would this conscious, perhaps a creative ability to be able to communicate and to also sort of create that world or environment? I talk about Weltslash in my writing, and if you're new to all this, you're going, what are they talking about? Weltslash is the German word for the built world dwelling experience that we're all having. And whether we're looking for existential meaning, it's qualifying existence in some level that we become enablers of our experience. So rather than just being victims or sort of on the wrong end, the receiving kick butt end of life, we're sort of able to sort of endeavor into something that's going to free us because we become a bit more aware of it, which awareness is basically I-awareness is being aware of the flight you take every day, which is constructed through your TWA. I use a lot of acronyms. TWA stands for thoughts, words, and the way you're acting, actualizing, right? So becoming a bit more aware of this sort of allows you to stand back a bit because you're the projector on the screen of life. And of course, there are a lot of inputs and things that are happening in our society and in our lives and things that we have to deal with, responsibly or not, that affect us. And so the determinants, in part, and for some would say with this XQ quotient, to a large degree, is the way we're able to handle and take a stand for the things that we value in our life. And it's our management of our affairs and the adroitness, the ability or skill to be present in such a way that equitably deals with quote unquote reality. Now, in my MORB theory, which you got to check out, the modus operandi of rational behavior, MORB, MORB.masstrance.com. Yes, the hypnosis of society, masstrance.com. We have an actor that's not quite, you could say, aware of their own thought projections, the word use, and what they're actualizing. So they're living in this mass trance, sort of, a disattraction of life that sort of keeps us off into whatever shiny object we're chasing after, or whatever's on Netflix, or the games, or videography of our life that we're imagining and projecting through our ego, which is the selfie of the mind, igoism.com or igoresearch.com, IGO. That's the book proposal. The igo. But also this XQ factor, that would be a great book too, because if we're looking at maximizing this pseudo-philosophy that I call ultra being, which is like being at our best, right? Ultra being attuned to the present, right? Being all you can be, in state, ultra being loving. This attunement inversely would be the expression of the XQ. And the XQ, it's a quotient for how we're able to express ourselves, combining all our factors. And, that could be our preferences for the way that we like to communicate or exist, whether it's a lifestyle or a certain choice in the way that we express ourselves. The dynamic is your ability to connect and to outreach in such a way that you're having sort of an equilibrium effect in this environ, which I talk about. Yeah, it's the environment, but sort of particularly, we're talking about this correspondence of what we experience in the quality of our lives, this ultra beingness expressed. What would this mean for you? What does this endeavor offer? Well, for those that are curious about things like this, and for some it's a spiritual pursuit, for others it's love, others is sort of just like this curiosity. I want to find meaning, value, and purpose. The MVP in life, right? This becomes your mission, your vision, and passion. So that one really, in this exemplification of XQ, maximizes their life experience. They're really enjoying their life experience and they're making the most of it, not just in a selfish capacity, but it does benefit those around them, whether it's immediate friends and family, or community or society, or the world at large. The contribution is felt just because they become a gateway. Something opens up in this dynamic, at least in this theoretical construct of mind, ultra beingness. The XQ sort of just, when you come into this sort of the mess, the metasphere space of where we correspond with each other, whether it's in communication or just body language in the sense that, something's felt in the room, the XQ expression of this sort of allows people to be naturally who they are. It frees them up the way it comes off their bat because it's sort of like there's nothing of a pretense or artificial here that's being constructed or, again, disattracted. So we kind of wake up out of the mass trance and we just sort of shake it off and we check in with our posture, our breathing, in a way, an array of what is given to us, the presence being this gift of who you are and the way that you show up, sort of becomes freed of the agenda other than just being naturally who you are and lovingly ultra being present. What else can be asked? So as you express this, it becomes a currency in the way of your ultra beingness. XQ is just sort of this fantastic, fantasy type ideal that becomes quote unquote self-realized or idealized. And this becomes our XQ. This becomes our way of being. And this is the expression. This is what XQ comes to mean. So it's a significant divining. So it's a dynamic that becomes the shift in the paradigm. So we actually have something in the environment, something that, if you can follow me along here, we are consciously constructing, becomes sort of like putting the key in the ignition and twisting it and putting your foot on the gas pedal. What do you have? You have something that started up. So if we can identify this and begin to relate to it and perhaps adopt it, not saying just my idea, you got to do what I say. No, nothing like that at all. It's sort of like, oh, I get the conscious construct of XQ. So how do we maximize it, idealize it, and express it? This becomes the endeavor, the exploration of ultra being. UBE3, ultra being, an excellent example of enlightenment, as you're able to express it, experience it, experiment with it. XQ. Well, what's your sense of it? Mike'sMastermind.com. Thanks for checking it out. XQ. XQ is you.